We've done many curries on the channel, but this Goan chicken curry tastes absolutely incredible and I think it might be the #1 spot. Let's get straight into it. Please sit back, relax and enjoy. Alright, starting out, we're going to be making our own spice mix. So in a pan, add in 9 grams of whole coriander seeds and 4 grams of whole cumin seeds, 4 grams of yellow mustard seeds or black mustard seeds if you can get them, and 4 green cardamom pods, 4 whole cloves as well as 2 grams of whole black peppercorns, and then finally just 1 cinnamon stick just to add a nice little infusion. With this right here, this is now our masala mix or spice mix. We can take it over to a stovetop and place it over a medium heat and toast for about 2 to 2.5 minutes just until it turns golden brown and starts to crackle a little bit. Also traditionally there'd be some Kashmiri chili in here. I know not everyone can get that, so we're going to be using a substitute later on in the recipe. Once you start seeing the seeds jumping for joy, that pretty much is an indication that they're ready to go. We can then remove these from the stovetop and pour them into a bowl and just let them cool down for the time being. Whilst the spices are cooling down, we can get everything else prepared. We're going to need 2 brown or yellow onions. These have been peeled with both the tip and root removed. Slice them in half, and then on the half moon position, we're just going to slice these into nice thin strips. You can also slice it the opposite way. I just don't recommend dicing it for this recipe just because it's nice to have those strings of the onion. Next is 8 whole cloves of garlic and 25 grams of ginger. We're not going to be doing anything with the garlic except leaving it whole, but with the ginger I do recommend slicing it up and just breaking it down a little bit. It will make everything so much easier later on in the recipe, and you can also grate it if you prefer and use jarred stuff if you really wanted to, but I can guarantee you the flavour will not be the same as using fresh. Now as for the main protein source for this dish, we're going to need 1.2 kilos of boneless and skinless chicken thigh. You can trim off any fat if you're worried about that, or you can leave it on for extra flavour, and all we're going to do is trim this up and dice these into even sized pieces. That way they'll all cook at the same rate and we won't have to worry about any raw chicken, even though this is going to be cooked for a while. When your spices have cooled down, transfer them over to a spice grinder or use a mortar and pestle if you don't have one. It will take a little bit longer and a little bit of a workout, and I do recommend snapping up the cinnamon stick to make it grind down a lot easier. As for this, just blitz it up into a fine powder or smash it up if you're using a mortar and pestle, just until you have something that looks like this and it smells absolutely fantastic. With that done, we can then make the curry paste, add the garlic and ginger to a food processor bowl along with the spice mix we just made. This right here is 30 grams of tamarind paste. It's an acidity booster and adds balance to a dish like this. If you can't get it, add in lemon juice instead. Then we're going to create a substitute for those Kashmiri chilies I was talking about earlier. This right here is 10 grams of smoked paprika and 3 grams of cayenne pepper, along with a nice pinch of salt as well to get things moving. This can then be blended on a high speed to break it down, and you'll notice it won't completely break down, and that's because we're going to need to add in some water. The amount is not an exact weight, and I have about 125 milliliters here, which I don't actually use all of it. I probably use about 100 milliliters of it, just to thin the paste down slightly, and you can also use chicken stock if you prefer to add more flavor. What we're looking for is something like this. It's thick, it's pourable, and it smells fantastic. Okay, so with all of the prep out of the way, place a large pan or pot over a medium-high heat, and we're going to add in 2 tablespoons of any neutral flavored oil. Yes, I used vegetable oil, but you can use whichever one you like. And then we're going to follow that up with the onions and a pinch of salt, and then saute these for 8 minutes, stirring them every now and again, just to break them down a little bit and get that nice slight caramel flavor and color onto them. Next to go in is all of the diced chicken. Just push it down with a bowl to spread it out, and then mix this around just so it's not sitting on top of one another and it's all stuck together. And then we're going to continue cooking this for about 5 minutes. We're not looking to cook it all the way through, and we don't need too much color here. We just want to get that initial sear and get the flavors going in the pan. With that done, we can then add in the curry paste we made before, and please do scrape the bowl. You need every single little bit of this. And then we're going to add in 500 grams of passata, which is just tomato puree or tomato sauce. You can also use canned tomatoes, and I'm also going to rinse it out with a little bit of water just so we have no wastage. Also hit it up with a little bit of salt to taste, and then we can mix this all together really well, making sure that that spice paste or the curry paste is completely mixed all over the chicken, and you'll notice the chicken change color straight away. And just continue mixing until everything's coated, and then just bring it to a simmer. Once it is at a simmer, we're going to then add in 125 milliliters of chicken stock or water. It's completely up to you to thin it down, along with 4 grams of turmeric or ground turmeric for that nice muskiness, and then a pinch of sugar just to balance out the acidity. And you can use any amount you want. I ended up using about 4.5 grams. Give this another really good mix through so all of those flavors can become friends. Bring it to a boil, and then we're going to place on a lid, reduce the heat to low, and cook this for 45 minutes. Alright, so about 25 minutes before our curry's ready, we're going to cook our rice. Add 300 grams of washed basmati rice to a baking dish, and yes, it is washed, that's why it's in a sieve, along with 600 milliliters of boiling water. You do want to make sure it's boiling, that way it will cook quicker and steam a lot faster. Sea salt flakes to taste, and then we're going to optionally add in some cinnamon sticks, cloves, cardamom pods, and bay leaves, and the amount is pretty much up to you. Give that a quick mix through with a spoon just to prevent any clumps, cover it tightly with foil, and then we're going to place it into a preheated oven set at 190 degrees Celsius or 375 degrees Fahrenheit and cook for 22 minutes undisturbed. Once that is done, remove it and let it sit for about 10 minutes before uncovering it. Going back to the curry, we can then carefully remove the lid, just be careful of any escaping steam, and you'll notice the oil has come to the top, which is exactly what we want. This can then be given a really good mix through, check it for seasoning, adjust if necessary, and then just remove it from the stovetop. Also, this right here is the macros for the curry alone without the rice, and this is per portion. Now after the rice has been left to rest for about 10 minutes, we can remove the foil, as well as removing those optional spices if you added them. Fluff it up with a fork just until it's nice and soft and fluffy, and then this right here is the macros for the basmati rice alone, and again that is per portion. Serving up is super simple, just divide everything by 5. The container sizes are 750 milliliters and this recipe fits 5 containers perfectly. You can garnish it with some coriander or cilantro, which is optional, or even serve it with some naan bread as well. But what we've then created is these absolutely delicious Goan chicken curries, and the smell from these is absolutely fantastic. Also, this right here is the macros for the complete dish, and again, that is per portion. Now with these, let them cool down for about 15 to 20 minutes before placing on the lids, and then put them in the fridge for up to 4 days or in the freezer for up to 4 months. As for reheating, you can bring them out of the fridge, put them in a pan or in the microwave, it's completely up to you. And if you're gonna be reheating these from frozen, please don't. Just let them defrost in the fridge overnight, otherwise you'll risk them just being way overcooked and a little bit dry. Also, I've been getting loads of comments saying, why would I eat the same thing for 5 days? This isn't the point of meal prep. You just have these in the fridge or in the freezer for whenever you need them. You can eat them within 3 days. If you know you're not gonna eat them then, just chuck them in the freezer and have them on a rainy day. It is completely up to you. With all of that said and done though, the only thing that is left to do is, of course, we can then dig in. If there is any meal prep you have to make, it's definitely this one. That is the best curry meal prep that we've done so far, and I know I make bold claims like that all the time, but please do try this. The flavor is extremely well balanced. It's a little bit sweet, a little bit salty, a little bit acidic. The chicken literally just falls apart in your mouth, and it's so juicy as well. And the whole house smells fantastic too. If you enjoyed this video, please do hit that like button and consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.